Hello, how are you? I'm fine, thank you. Sit down, please. I'd like to speak English today too, to improve my speaking skill. Let's get it started. Today, it is May 25th, 2023. It's on Thursday and sunny outside. How are you spending Thursday? How do you like Thursday? When I was a university student, I used to schedule Thursday with little work. I mean, I used to set up lighter schedule for Thursday, and it worked well in a week. I used to set up lighter schedule for Thursday. I didn't cram many things to do on Thursday, and which worked well in a week. So instead of the light day, easy day on Thursday, I put more burdens on Friday because I could get over Friday by expecting the day off after the heavy day, Saturday and Sunday. So I used to put more burdens on Friday instead of the easy day on Thursday. Burden. Athletes tend to put heavier burden during the training so that they could last for the limited time in the performance. Working as a part-timer after school will be beneficial, but at the same time, which will be the additional burden. Working as a part-timer will be beneficial and which will give you the experience, but which also will be the additional burden in the day. The burden of proof. 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 Do you have the burden of proof? Do you have the burden of proof? The burden of proof. The executives have the burden of proof on behalf of the department, which cause the problems. The manager of the department has the burden of proof as the head of the department. The burden of proof. The burden of proof. The burden of proof. Making a mess on the street would be the burden to the cleaners. So keep that in mind. So please bear that in mind. Making a mess in the room would be the burden to the cleaner and the staff later. Polluting the earth itself would be the burden to ourselves in the end. Polluting the Mother Earth will be the burden to Earth. It's ourselves. Extending to more and more things will be burden to us. I try to remove unwanted things and focus on only limited area of my interests. In this way, maybe it will be better. Because we are not a Superman who can deal with everything. The burden of proof. The burden of proof. The burden of proof. The burden of proof is left to you. The burden of proof is left to the CEO. The burden of proof is left to none. None of them. It depends on you. It's left to you. The burden of proof is left to none of them. It is left to you. The burden of proof. The burden of proof. The burden of proof. If the transportation and accommodation are a burden to me, I will not accept the job offer. I declined the job offer because the transportation and accommodation was a burden to me. I declined the job offer because the accommodation and transportation fee were the burden to me. If the accommodation and public transportation fee had not been the burden to me, I would have accepted that. If the accommodation and transportation fee had not been burden to me, I would have accepted that. The transportation fee to the venue is usually burden to the customers. The transportation fee to the destination is burden to the customers. The transportation fee from the venue to your home is burden to you. It's burden to the participants. Spending time idling away and making no challenges will be burden to you in the near future or from now on. Spending time idling away and no challenges will be burden to you. Hey, it's on me. You don't have to pay this time. It's on me. No, you always treat us to fancy cuisines. This time, let me pay. Because I don't want to be burden to you. Because I don't want cuisine to be burden to you. The burden of proof. The burden of proof. No study will be burden to us in the future. The public transportation and accommodation fee will be burden to the customers, participants. Accommodation and transportation fee are burden to the participants. Please do not add to extra burdensome things. Are there extra burdensome fees? Are there any other burdensome fees? Extra burdensome fees? Burdensome tax on my desk. Whenever I remember a heap of tasks, a heap of troublesome and burdensome tasks on my desk, I get depressed. Whenever I look back on the reality of a heap of burdensome tasks on my desk, I get depressed. Burdensome. Polluting the earth will be burdensome to us in the future or from now on. Burdensome. Public transportation and accommodation fee will be burdensome to us. Burdensome. Burdensome. The man spent and lost a lot of money on the gambling and borrowed more money from the bank to get the loss back. Ended up having more burdensome debts. Burdensome. Preparation enough beforehand will alleviate the burdensome tasks. Preparation enough beforehand will alleviate the burdensome tasks. In order to relieve the amount of burdensome tasks, I prepare enough usually. In order to alleviate the amount of burdensome tasks, I usually prepare enough by gathering information, asking some people for information and so on. Burdensome. 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 Troublesome. Burdensome. 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 It is said that successful people try to deal with the most burdensome tasks, duties, in the first place in the day. They say that successful people cope with the most difficult duties in the first place in the day. They say that successful people cope with the most burdensome duties in the first place in the day. Burdensome. Burdensome chores, burdensome cleaning, additional burdensome duties, additional burdensome tasks. Do not create additional burdensome chores by making a mistake. Burdensome. 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 I try not to create additional burdensome things. One of the strategies is to avoid making a mistake. For example, if I make a mistake, I have to do it again, which will be additional burdensome. In the policy of the working environment, if one person in the team make a mistake, every other member have to be responsible for that, so which will be very burdensome, troublesome. It is not one person's responsibility. It will bother other members. So please avoid making a mistake. Burdensome. Keep running the air conditioner for a long time will be burdensome to itself. It's important to make it have a rest regularly. It can be set to other appliances too. The more we use a device, the more it will get older, which will be burdensome. The longer hours we use the appliance, the more burdensome it will get. Burdensome. Working as a part-timer after school activity might be beneficial regarding stacking up the experience, but which will also be additional burdensome, which will be a burdensome at the same time. Working as a part-timer after school activity will be beneficial when it comes to stacking up experience, but it will be burdensome because you have to study. Besides that, you have to work. So which will be burdensome. Burdensome. In order to avoid going through burdensome things, I try to be careful in order to avoid making a mistake. Burdensome chore. Burdensome commute. Is commuting itself burdensome for you? Is commuting itself burdensome for you? Burdensome. Is commuting itself burdensome for you? 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 Burdensome. Yes, commuting itself is burdensome for me. Commuting itself will be is burdensome for me. Everybody wants to avoid troublesome things. Everybody wants to avoid troublesome things. Troublesome. I hope the event will not develop into troublesome one. I hope the event will not develop into more troublesome one. Troublesome task. Troublesome intervene. Winning in the fight between the two students will be troublesome. The procedure entering the country due to the pandemic is troublesome. The procedure sounds troublesome for some people. The procedure to enter and exit the country during the pandemic was troublesome. troublesome, troublesome. More troublesome procedures may be omitted or concised. Summarized. More and more troublesome procedures, especially paperwork, will be omitted or done by AIs. Troublesome. Going to the post office twice is troublesome, so I will finish it at once. Who is responsible for making a mistake? Responsible. I'd like to be a responsible man. I'd like to be a responsible man, which will lead to stacking up credibility from others. I'd like to be a responsible man in order to earn credibility, reliability from others. Do you have a responsible job? Do you have a responsible job? A responsible job can be stressful because of a lot of pressure, expectation from others, and so on. A responsible job will be stressful because of much pressure, difficulty, expectation from others, and so on. A responsible job. Responsible. Responsible. You are responsible for that. None of us are responsible for the incident because we were not there. The incident has nothing to do with us at all. Responsible. A responsible job. A responsible job. Are you in charge of a responsible position? Do you have a responsible job? Do you have a responsible job? No, my job is not such responsible. It's easy. But at the same time, it can be very boring. I'm thinking changing my job to a more responsible one to feel challenging. I see. A responsible job. A responsible job. A responsible job. A responsible job. I'd like to leave the duty to someone with the sense of responsibility. Otherwise, I might be betrayed. Otherwise, the duty might be done lightly, with little care. I'd like to leave the duty to someone with the sense of responsibility in order to make the duty done completely with a lot of care. A sense of responsibility. Do you have a sense of responsibility? A sense of responsibility. Heavy responsibilities. Heavy responsibilities. Duty with heavy responsibilities. Crime with heavy responsibility. A job with heavy responsibilities. A mission with heavy responsibilities. Heavy responsibilities. Heavy responsibilities. A duty with heavy responsibilities. A duty with a heavy responsibility. A mission with heavy responsibility. A mission with heavy responsibility. Responsibility. A mission with a heavy responsibility. A duty with heavy responsibilities. A job with heavy responsibilities. A job with heavy responsibilities. If anything happens, who is going to accept the job responsibility? If anything happens, who will accept the responsibility? If anything happens, I cannot accept the responsibility. That's why I cannot do that. If anything happens, if anything accident happens, I cannot accept the responsibility. That's why I cannot start the mission. Okay? So let's make clear who is responsible for the futuristic mistake. Probable future mistake. Let's make it clear. Who will accept the responsibility if something happens beforehand in advance? Let's make it clear. Let's make clear that who is going to accept the responsibility. 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 As far as I know, many ministries are located in Tokyo. Is the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Japan located in Tokyo? Yes, as far as I know. As far as I know, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Japan is located in Tokyo. Is the Defense Agency located in Tokyo? I think so. Is the Defense Agency situated in Tokyo? Yes, as far as I know. The Defense Agency. 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 Defense Attorney. Defense Claims. The defense claims were refuted by the ones from plaintiff. The defense claims were overturned by the decisive evidence emerged from the venue. Defense, the defense attorney, defense team, defense claims, defense claims, defense claims, defense teams, defense teams, defense team. defense team, defense team, defense claims, defense claims, defense, defense, the defense agency, the defense attorney made a claim in the courtroom. The defense attorney made a claim in the courtroom. Defense claims, defense team. The budget for defense of the nation. Defensive strategy, defensive measure, defensive measure, defensive, 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 defensive measures. Five consecutive defensive champion. Five successive defensive champion. Defensive strategies, defensive measures, defensive measures. More and more budgets will be allocated to the defensive measures. Twice as much budget were allocated as the defensive measures, defensive measures, defensive measures, defensive measures, defensive measures, defensive measures, defensive measures. Defensive, defensive pose, defensive formation, defensive purposes. The moat surrounding the castle is for the defensive purpose. The moat surrounding the castle is created for the defensive purpose. Defensive, defensive measures. I remember my parents defending me many times when I did something wrong at school. The imperial palace are protected, defended 24 hours, around the clock, round the clock. Defend. The champion failed to defend his championship 6 times. He was knocked down on the 5th round of the game. But he defended his championship 5 times. The champion defended his championship, and the boxer defended his championship 5 times. 5 times. Defend. The celebrities. I saw a celebrity defended by many super protectors when she moved from the rear exit of the concert hall to the car. The boxer declared to defend at the match. The boxer declared to defend at the match. The judge found the defendant not guilty. The judge found the defendant guilty. The judge found the defendant not guilty. The judge found the defendant guilty. The judge found the defendant not guilty. The judge found the defendant guilty. The judge found the defendant guilty. The judge found the defendant not guilty. The judge found the defendant not guilty. The judge found the defendant guilty. The judge found the defendant guilty. The judge found the defendant not guilty. Defendant and plaintiff. Claims by both plaintiff and the defendant, the accused, the defendant or the accused, the defendant or the accused, the defendant or the accused, the defendant, the defendant or the accused. The judge found the accused not guilty. The judge found the accused guilty. The judge found the accused not guilty. The judge found the defendant not guilty. The judge found the defendant guilty. The judge found the defendant not guilty. The judge found the defendant guilty. The judge found the accused not guilty. The judge found the defendant guilty. The defendant or the defendant and plaintiff. The witness made a claim with decisive evidence, which did a great deal of damage to the defense's case. Make a claim. Make a claim with decisive evidence. My attorney told me that winning the lawsuit would be very difficult unless decisive evidence emerged. My attorney, the attorney who was in charge of me, told me that winning the lawsuit would be difficult unless I made a claim with decisive evidence. The witness made a claim with evidence at the courtroom. The witness made a claim with decisive evidence in front of the judge at the courtroom, in the courtroom. Make a claim. Make a claim. My attorney told me that winning the lawsuit would be very difficult unless I made a claim with evidence. Decisive evidence. Attorney General. Attorney General. What is the difference between attorney and lawyer? Both mean the same, right? Just different spelling, meaning the same, having the same meaning, right? Attorney and lawyer. Attorney. Attorney General. What is the position of Attorney General? Is it different from the Minister of Justice? What is the difference of what they do between Attorney General and the Minister of Justice? Attorney General, Attorney General, Attorney General, Attorney General, Attorney General, Attorney General. Some companies went bankruptcy during the pandemic. On the other hand, some other companies had the most profits. There are demerits to the plan A. On the other hand, there are also merits. Are you brave enough to refute your boss if it is wrong? Are you courageous enough to refute your boss if it is wrong? We should refute if it is wrong, if it violates the law, policy, and so on. We should gather courage and refute the wrong things. Refute. Refute. What are they refuting? What are they refuting in the procession? I cannot understand the language at all. What are they refuting in the procession? On the walkway. They are calling out something in the language I cannot understand. In the language that I cannot understand. I cannot make heads or tails of what the demonstrators are talking, saying, calling out. Refute, refute. Refute. Nobody could refute this arrogant, stubborn, obstinate boss. Obstinate, stubborn, arrogant. No employees can refute their boss for fear of being laid off, which is not good. No employees in the company were brave enough to refute their boss for fear of being laid off. No employees in the company did not try to attempt to strive to refute the boss, even they were wrong, for fear of being laid off. Refute. Refute. If you have opinions, please refute. Try to refute if it is wrong. Try to refute if it is wrong. Make the students refute. Make the employees refute if it is wrong. Make the employees or students refute. Refutation against what is wrong, what is regarded wrong. Refutation against what it is regarded as wrong, what it is viewed, seen as wrong. Refutation against what is regarded as wrong, viewed as wrong, seen as wrong. Refutation against violation of the law. Refutation against the notorious policy issued by the government. Refutation against the policy. Refutation against the stricter border measures. Refutation against the stricter measures of importing goods. Refutation against the stricter measures on the importing goods. Refutation against higher tax, increased tax, boosted tax. Refutation against higher tax. Refutation against higher tax. Refutation against higher tax. Refutation. Refute what is wrong. Refute what you think wrong. Refute what you think wrong. What you think wrong. Refute what you think is wrong. Refute what you think are wrong. refute what you think is wrong, okay? Refute, refute, refutation, refutation, refutation against notorious policy which will affect tourism industry. Refutation, refutation against notorious policy which is said to have a bad effect on the industry. Refutation against stricter procedures on the importing goods. Refutation against stricter measures on importing goods. Refutation against stricter and more confusing procedures on importing goods. Refutation against more confusing procedures of importing goods. Refutation. Refutation. The information presented by the man turned out to be false. False. I need to present the document to my professor by the deadline, otherwise I will have to have the same year again to earn enough credit. The information presented by the witnesses help to arrest the guy, the man, at large. The information presented by the witnesses and the third-party people help to arrest the man at large. Present. I'd like to present something which will praise the girl. So I'd like to get information from her friends. What makes her happy? I need to get information secretly so that I won't be noticed by the girl. I will ask her friends which products or merchandises will make her happy, and I will present the object to her to see her smile. Present, present, present. I'd like to present something which will make her happy. Make her happy. I'd like to present something which will make her happy. Make her happy. I'd like to present something which will make her happy. But I don't know what will make her happy, so I will ask her friends what she likes. But I cannot afford luxury goods, so the things I can present are limited. Present, present, present. I did present my report to the professor by the deadline. Please make sure present your documents by the deadline. If you fail to present your document to the professor by the deadline, you will lose the credit, which means you have to take the examination again. Present, present. And since I did not have time to present the envelope at the post office yesterday, so today I'm going to present the envelope at the post office before it closes today. When all of the classmates are present, the event will be held. It was rare in my class that all of the students were present. So teacher got surprised when all of the students were present. It was rare that all of the students were present in my class at the elementary school, because somebody was always absent from school for a reason such as sick, trip, and some other reasons. So it was rare that all of the students in my class were present, 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 past and future tense. Present perfect. I'm confusing. I always confuse the present perfect tense. Past, present, and future are easier to memorize, but present perfect is very confusing for me, difficult to understand. Present economy. Let's compare the present and past economy. Let's compare present and the past situation of the town. Let's compare the present and the past value. Let's compare the present and the past things we put the value on. Present. Are you present at school? How often were you present at school? Two of my friends were always present at the school, and they never they were never absent from school. So they got the prize for not being absent even once. Two of my friends were never absent from school, so they got a prize for that when graduation, when it was at the graduation ceremony. Two of my friends were always present at school. They were never absent from school, so they got a prize for that at the graduation. Present tense, present tense, present, present, present. How often were you present at school? How often were you present at school? 95%. According to the record of my high school days, I was just absent from school only 3 times in 3 years. Is it excellent for you or negligent? Present, present, past, present and past. The teacher advised me not to care about the past or future and live now, focus on now. The entrepreneur advised me to focus on now, not caring the past and future. Present, present, present tense of the grammar, present tense of the grammar, present. Thank you for the present, which made me super happy. Many people might feel happy only when they get presents, and they tend to forget the favor or kindness they got from parents, friends, relatives, acquaintances, and so on. They should not forget the kindness, favors their friends or acquaintances extended to them. Present. I remember practicing presentation in front of the wall many times. I remember practicing presentation in front of the wall, pretending there were panels at rehearsal. I remember practicing presentation in front of the wall, pretending the walls were the panels, assessing my presentation, evaluating my presentation. Presentation in front of people, presentation in public, presentation in small group. In a small group, presentation made me so nervous. Not only presentation, but performance in front of people makes me so nervous to death. Presentation of a prize. Presentation of a prize. Presentation of the report by Friday. Presentation. 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 Presentation practice. Presentation practice within 2 minutes. Before the presentation test, I try to create body time of 2 minutes because there were no timer available in front of me during the examination, and I needed to speech. I needed to make a presentation, deliver a presentation for 2 minutes. Actually, within 2 minutes. So 1 minute and 45 seconds was the best time for the presentation. So in order to have the body time of around 2 minutes, I practiced a lot without the timer, with timer in front of the wall. In order to have the body time of 2 minutes, I practiced presentation with a timer to know how the 2 minutes are long or short or last. To know how long the 2 minutes last. To know how long the 2 minutes last. Presentation, presentation, presentation. Presentation of a gift. Presentation, presentation of a gift. Presentation of my report. Now I'm gathering a lot of documents to inherit some assets from the dead. Inherit. I'm to inherit the asset from my parents. I'm to inherit the asset from my parent. Who is going to inherit the assets such as house and land in your family? Because you have 5 children, 5 siblings, right? Okay, I will finish speaking here. Thank you for watching. See you next time. See you.